Hello there everyone! In this video, I'm going to be talking to you all about two important international news headlines that the media will not really cover here in the United States. We're going to talk about the election results from Canada's parliament, where in Canada it's a whole different story, where the leading party gets control of their government. And in this case, Justin Trudeau, the incumbent prime minister, will get another 4-year term. We will also discuss the latest update with Brexit. So, from now on, I'm trying to use the Associated Press's website because they are non-biased when they do publish news, it seems. So, if you want to visit the Associated Press's website, you can go on to apnews.com. So, thankfully, no liberal, no conservative, hopefully. So, hopefully, this will not be controversial in a sense. But they are a big deal, the Associated Press. So, if you want to check them out, highly recommend you do so. So, first up, let's talk about the Canadian Parliament election. And that is the results from last night that Justin Trudeau will in fact get a second term as the Prime Minister of Canada. But there are issues that Canada does face in the next 4 years. So, pretty much every 4 years, like the United States, Canada holds a big election. Pretty much the year before our United States presidential election, they hold their election. And it was last night. Every Canadian news outlet covered it. CBC, Global, CTV, they all covered it. Their job. And, of course, we got the word at 10:30 last night that Mr. Trudeau would, in fact, get another four-year term as the Prime Minister of Canada. So, to him, he has a lot on his plate to deal with. The polls in Canada were suggesting that it could be very close, and it was somewhat close, and I'll explain why. But in the end, he will still get 4 more years. So, Canada's really going to have a lot to deal with on their plate. So let's read the article. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has won a second term in a shorter than expected showing in Canada's national elections, claiming a clear mandate Tuesday despite a parliament and nation increasingly fractured along regional lines. Trudeau's Liberal Party took the most seats in parliament but lost its majority in Monday's balloting. That means it will have to rely on an opposition party to pass legislation. So, pretty much with Canada in the past 4 years, Trudeau's agenda was able to get done in a 4-year span. He was able to get what he needs to do. But now that he doesn't have a majority, it means that if he wants to get legislation done, it's going to be harder to do so. The Prime Minister's early morning address to supporters came as his Conservative rival Andrew Scheer had just begun speaking to his own backers, forcing TV networks to break away from Scheer. But the Prime Minister struck a conciliatory note. To those who did not vote for us, know that we will work every single day for you. We will govern for everyone. So pretty much the final results from the election. The Liberals had 157 seats, 13 short of the 170 needed for a majority in the 330-seat House of Commons for Parliament, while the Conservatives had 121. While Trudeau claimed the mandate, his party won fewer raw votes nationally than the Conservatives did, and failed to win a single seat in the western provinces of Alberta and Saskatchewan, where the Conservatives dominated. So, pretty much, Canada is a very divided nation, similar to what the United States is. Except, the thing about Alberta and Saskatchewan, they lean more conservative versus, let's say, British Columbia, Ontario, Ottawa. Those provinces always tend to lead liberally. Now, there was rumors going around that British Columbia might actually go with the Conservatives. I'm not going to say where that source was, but there were rumors online. Some political analysts thought that maybe last minute that Scheer's Conservative Party might have a chance, but I knew going into the night that there was no chance the Liberals were going to lose British Columbia because they love Trudeau out there in that western province. And especially how Ontario, they love the guy. They love Trudeau. Like, they have increasing love for this guy. Now, Alberta is going to be very mad at Mr. Trudeau, home to the third largest oil reserves in the world. The Prime Minister has an inability to get a pipeline built to the Pacific coast so that Alberta's oil can command a higher price. Well, let's see what happens here, because this is going to be interesting. So there was a statement from Andrew Scheer, and he said that Conservatives have put Justin Trudeau on notice. And Mr. Trudeau, when your government falls, Conservatives will be ready and they will be able to win. So, let's see. Because the next time that Canada will have their elections is 2023. Unless a scenario happens where people force Trudeau to do something that he doesn't want to do, and that is force craziness in Parliament. I'm not going to get into that now. This isn't the time and place to get into that. There's always a what if. You know, there's people in Canada who talk constantly about politics, so please, I do not want to get into that today. But I will read this. So, Andrew Scheer, the Conservative leader, said that results showed the Liberal Party leader, Mr. Trudeau, was much weakened since his 2015 elections when pundits had predicted the beginning of another Trudeau dynasty. So, it says that Pierre, who was Justin's father, was Prime Minister of Canada from 1968 to 1984. He had a brief interruption between 1979 and 1980. Okay, let's just make sure. Yeah, and then you had the blackface. Don't want to get into that. So I'm just quickly taking a look at this. That's pretty much the end of the article, so we're not going to read more. And lastly, we have an important update on Brexit. So officially tomorrow, as of tomorrow, it will be 1 week of the Halloween deadline that the United Kingdom must leave the European Union. So pretty much I am very distraught that our American media is not covering this. And quickly want to mention something about the hypocrisy of Wall Street here. So let's take a look at the Dow Jones. Alright, the Dow was only up 4 points today. The Dow should be going down. They should be freaking out that England might collapse and the United States may have to bail out the British. Because I have a theory about this before I read the article. Now, if you're not aware, our president, Donald Trump, and the Prime Minister of England, Boris Johnson, actually are best friends. They're actually best friends. I guarantee you Trump's gonna send money to the British. You don't think he will? I guarantee it. It's gonna happen. I wouldn't be surprised. I would be more surprised if Trump says, I don't want to give money to them. Possible. But don't count it out. We have to pray for our friends in England, folks, because they are going through a very rough time. And again, I'm sure on November 1st, the American stock market's going to react negatively to this. I'm waiting for next Friday because I'm kind of wondering what will happen if they don't have a plan. I'm kind of wondering. Okay, so we have an update. According to the Associated Press, as of 7:45 p.m. Greenwich time, which that's their time out there in England, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says he will pause the government's planned Brexit legislation after lawmakers voted to reject his fast-track timetable. The Prime Minister told Parliament today that the government will accelerate plans for a no-deal Brexit in light of the defeat. So here it is, folks. Here it is. Why isn't the American stock market negatively reacting to this? Why is the Dow Jones up 4 points today? Everybody should be selling. You people on Wall Street just want to buy. Sorry to talk about economics right now. How stupid are these banking people right now? They don't care that they're not going to be able to get important business deals done with the British because the British government's going to collapse next week? Look what it says. Look what it says. No deal. So that means next Thursday, when they have to leave the European Union, they're going to have no plan. Look at that. Okay, here's what it says. Boris Johnson says he will consult with EU leaders and urge the EU to make up its mind about Britain's request for a possible delay of Brexit. I just don't know what's going on here. So again, this is just the latest update. Let's just quickly see if the BBC has an update. So let's just go to bbc.com very quickly. See what they have. Okay, so let's see if we got an update. Alright, so let's see what the BBC is saying. Alright, so the Commons have... the Commons originally did support the withdrawal agreement bill earlier, but now have voted against the short timetable. Earlier, the PM warned... Right, talking about Boris Johnson, he would warn that he would seek an election if MPs dismissed the plan and the EU granted an extension for the Brexit deadline. Okay, so after the vote, Boris Johnson said that he would pause the legislation until the European Union has started their intentions. Alright, so pretty much it's up in the air right now. He's saying, let's delay it. We want to have a plan for now. But it's just anarchy in England right now. All thanks to Boris Johnson. Here's the man right there, folks. Also, one quick thing. Look at Justin Trudeau. Look at that on the right of the screen. That's kind of funny. One picture, smiling Trudeau goofball. The next, depressed Trudeau. That's kind of funny in a sense. The many faces of Justin Trudeau. It is funny in a sense. So, this Brexit thing's going to be closely monitored. I will have to do a special update on this on Friday, November 1st, because I don't want to do an update until we know what specifically is going on. But that's just a quick update on what's going on around the world, because, again, our American media is just too focused on other things. World News Tonight, I'm going to call you folks out at ABC. Shame on you. Shame on you. There should be at least a 30-second mention of what's going on in England and what's going on in Canada. I want to see something tonight. Davey Muir, you need to tell your producers to look into these stories. That's why your show is called ABC World News Tonight. You all riled up. Sorry to yell, but you know, I gotta go on the internet just to look up this information. You believe this? Alright, so with that, I'm gonna get going. Thank you all for watching. Until the next one, please take care.